Okay, it is 1 o'clock. Welcome everyone to our January 15th council meeting. I'll call our meeting to order. Councillor John, would you offer the land acknowledgement, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy New Year. It's the first time I'm seeing everyone since the holidays. Good to see you all again. As we gather, we recognize and acknowledge the traditional keepers of this land with whom we share today. The Township of Southgate is a part of the traditional territories of the Anishinaabe, Six Nations of the Grand River, Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, Haudenosaunee and Saugeen Métis. The land that surrounds us is part of who we are as it reflects our histories. May we live in peace and fellowship with all its diverse people. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Madam Clerk, is there anyone registered for open forum?
Yes, we have Mary registered today.
Okay,
Mary
welcome,
Redmond.
Mary. The floor is yours.
My name is Mary Redmond, and I live on Southgate Side Road 71. I'm the president of Dundalk Team Town Hall. I had to speak today to thank staff and council for moving us toward this day, when Southgate Township Council will vote on approving the sale of the Dundalk Old Town Hall to the brand new not-for-profit Dundalk Team Town Hall. I have to thank every person. A few years back now, almost 1,000 signing a petition on change.org and hundreds of high school students signing a petition to support opening the town hall to show movies, community groups, the Dundalk Lions, the Dundalk Agricultural Society, the Dundalk Legion, Dundalk Young at Heart, Kids and Us, Go Adventure, Dundalk Little Theatre, Dundalk Historical Society, South Grey Museum, and others, including Generation Connection, who always had a heart for youth, and both the Southgate Youth Action Committee and the Southgate Seniors Advisory Committee. There are other groups, including Junction and LP Theatre, who endorse a community arts and culture hub and have publicly expressed that commitment recently when the building was threatened. This is not the end of a journey. This is the moment when, like an athlete, after years of training, coaching, and preparation, we take our place in the starter's blocks and begin with perseverance and faith to run this race to the end, which will also be a new beginning for this building and this changing community, and another leg of a journey that started a long time ago and has always relied on the hard work, creative ideas, the volunteer effort, and the financial support of the people who live and operate their businesses here. Thanks to all. It takes a village and the countryside and the villages around it and the crossroads and the hamlets. And we trust support from different levels of government and foundations and capital grants, a whole lot of committed people to save a town hall. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Certainly appreciate your time and efforts to address council. Words to the wise. Thank you. Confirmation of the agenda. Someone care to move that, please? Jason and Jim. All those in favor? That is carried. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest related to any item on today's agenda? Not seeing one. If one should arise, you can declare it at any time. There are no delegations or presentations scheduled. Adoption of the minutes from all the way back to December 18th, almost a month ago. Someone care to move those, please? Barb and Joan, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is carried. Reports of municipal officers. The first is our Economic Development Department, and our Economic Development Officer, Brenna, is here this afternoon, and she's got 2 reports. Brenna, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and
Just before you get too far down the road, I better get a mover and a seconder, please. Barb and Jim, thank you. Sorry, Brenna, go ahead.
That's okay. That's on me. Thank you so much. The first report that I'm presenting today is for a CIP extension for Canadian Fence and Hardware. Their CIP application was approved by council in April of 2024. the agreement that they signed, they agreed to complete their project within 8 months. However, there is an opportunity for them to apply for a discretionary extension for their grant. So what I'm recommending to council is that they extend this grant eligibility to December 31st, 2025. And if the company does not complete, then we can reallocate this $15,000 to another project. But just with the amount of money that this company plans to invest and what this could contribute to the community, I'm suggesting that we do extend the timeline for this CIP grant. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenna. Any questions or discussion from council? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Brenna. And the next is to deal with the CIP application for Full Throttle Motor Speedway. Someone care to move that one, please? Jason, seconded by Jim. Brenna?
Thank you. This application is for Full Throttle Motor Speedway. As you likely know, their grandstands fell in at the end of their season last year. So they're applying for a grant to rebuild their grandstand. So the $12,000 is for the Building and Land Improvement Grant from the CIP. And so this grant especially would go to foundation work and rebuilding the grandstand. Obviously, this business has been in Southgate for a long time, so they do need to rebuild those grandstands that were quite aged. There are some issues with the zoning of the Speedway property. Part of the business extends to an agricultural portion of the lot owned by the same owner. So we are recommending that council issue this $12,000 for the grandstand work on the condition that the applicant complete a severance and zoning bylaw amendment to address these zoning compliance issues.
Very good. Thank you, Brenna. Any questions or discussion from council? Barb?
Thank you. And I'm not sure where my question is going, so I asked for some indulgence. The zoning is to sever the agriculture, and I know it's a separate subject, which is why I'm hesitant to ask the question. But if this is dependent, if the CIP grant is dependent on the success of that, and I guess my main question is, with regard to the grandstand, is it to replace the grandstand as it currently existed, or as it existed, or are they looking to expand the Speedway? There's some issues with the Speedway historically, but I just want to get a flavor for what the grandstand, is it going to be expanded upon, and why are they required to sever?
Brenna?
Thank you. So I'll start with the second question first, and then I might defer to our planning department to answer some extra questions. So first, according to the application, it's just rebuilding of the grandstand. There is no indication that it will be bigger than previously. It's just to support the rebuilding of the grandstand, and they're working on demolition of the rubble of the former grandstand right now. As to the lot, just to clarify that the property where the grandstand is zoned correctly. So it is zoned for commercial, but part of their the Speedway business does extend on to partially agriculturally zoned land. So I'm going to refer to our manager of Planning and Community Services for more information.
Yes, through you, your worship, that's correct. So essentially what's happened is the operation of the use has moved into the agricultural zone, which does not allow for it. So what is being suggested is that they would deal with that issue as a condition of obtaining this money. We've already been in consultation. Victoria can correct me. I'm blanking on the consultant, but they have retained a planner to assist them with that.
Ron Davidson.
Thank you. I'm not aware of any need for a severance. I think we were just saying planning issues. So I'm not aware that there would be a severance involved, just simply dealing with the delineation of where the zoning line is. Is mainly where we're at, making sure that the use that has spilled over into the zone where it's not allowed, we would then look at a rezoning to encompass everything into the proper zoning. I'm not sure if I missed anything. I see Victoria is online. I'm not sure if she has anything to add, but I think we'll leave it there.
Thank you. So the property that is zoned commercial for the Speedway has encroached upon other lands that are not zoned appropriately. So why not just require them to pull back into the area in which they were authorized to operate instead of having to, or granting an expansion of the Speedway? Thank you.
Through your worship, I'm not sure if Holly could pull up I think there's a map attached to the report from the Grey County GIS. It's attachment 4. So you can see the zoning map and the business has where it's spilled over into the agriculture just to the right of the C5 zone. So I don't think it's as simple as asking them to pull back. I think that some of that's overspilled is necessary for their operations, but that's part of a broader discussion with them as we move forward to deal with this. That we have been in consultation with them for some time about this issue, so this is not something that just came up recently. We've been in conversation with them for, to my knowledge, over a year.
So have they expanded, they've expanded their operation without permission?
I think my understanding is that because the Speedway has been around since the 60s, it's pre some of the official plan and the zoning rules that we had. So prior to this owner, this owner purchased the property in 2020 or 2021. This is how the business was already operated and spread out. So it has been like this for some time. It's not a recent expansion, but I think it predates some of the zoning rules that we now have.
And
Thank you.
I will just remind everyone that we're not in a planning meeting. The application is what we're looking at, and it's up to the proponent what council's being asked to do. If they wish to entertain the application as it is, then the other side of the coin is they will fix the zoning issue to receive the funding. So there will be fulsome discussion about what you were just discussing once it does come to the Committee of Adjustment. Go ahead.
So one final question then, and that's why I was asking for some indulgence, because it was raised as a result of the staff report. So they wouldn't get the funding until such time as the zoning is corrected.
That's correct.
That's the
So
recommendation.
that's the condition. The recommendation is to allow them to receive the funding provided they rezone and then they complete the grandstands. Then we can reimburse the 12,000. It is kind of supporting them because they have been made aware for quite some time. They've been in conversation with us that they do need to rezone and come into compliance. So this will kind of support them with that and help them know that at the end of the tunnel, they will have this 12,000 to support their grandstand project. However, if council so decides, they can remove the condition. That's just up to council, whatever the preference is.
Okay, thank you, Brenna.
Thank you for the explanation. I
Yep.
think the condition is valid and will, otherwise I don't think I could support giving them the $12,000 without them going through that process and getting the zoning. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, any other questions? Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Thank you, Brenna. Moving on to the planning department, we have Ken here with us and Victoria. And there's a number of reports there. The first is to deal with the reactivation of the subdivision approval for White Rose Phase 3. Someone care to move that, please? Barb and Jim. Ken, welcome. Victoria, welcome.
Thank you, your worship. I'll be taking this one.
Okay.
So good afternoon. This is an unusual request where an existing subdivision approval granted by Grey County has lapsed. There was an amendment to the Planning Act about a year ago to create a one-time, for lack of a better term, undo process where an applicant can request that their application be reactivated. In simple terms, the actual technical term is have it deemed not to have lapsed, which the folks who are developing White Rose Phase 3 have requested through the county. In discussing this with the county planning staff, they have, like they do with any subdivision decision, requested that the township provide a letter of support for reactivating the subdivision, which is the purpose of this report. But it's also noted that there would be some minor changes to the approval that would go through what's called a red line process. And so the county has asked for endorsement of that. Mainly the changes are from the original approval, not breaking up the townhouse blocks that had been included with the original approval, instead leaving them as a block. And then what will happen is as those townhouses are developed, they will then come forward and do a separate process to break those into individual lots once the construction is done. So that is what is before you. We're recommending that you support both the red line and the deeming the application not to have lapsed.
Very good. Thank you, Ken. Any questions or discussion from council? Barb, Jim, or Jason, rather, did you have something? Go ahead.
Well, yeah, it was just, do we know why it lapsed or why they didn't get on it in time or?
Through your worship, my understanding is that there was some difficulty with the developer in terms of change of ownership. And it does take some time for conditions that are imposed to get done, but the change of ownership was the main hurdle that delayed them. And we were working through one of the other conditions when we came to realize that it had actually lapsed. So hence why we're here.
Okay, thank you. Barb?
Thank you. And through you, thank you. Who are the new owners?
Through your worship, it was just a change of ownership between members of the family, is my understanding.
And then second of all, my only other question was, are we able to determine when or where within those townhouse blocks their commitment to build seniors townhouses, like townhouses suitable for senior living, that they had made to the Seniors Advisory Committee back in, oh gosh, it's got to be 6 or 7 years ago now, but it was something that they had committed to for Phase 3, and I just wondered if they could get back to us at some point. Thank you. It doesn't change the deemed not to have lapsed approval.
Just to respond through you, your worship, I do have on my list of things to do today to actually reach out to them to get an answer to that question. So we will reach out and get an answer.
Very
Thank you.
good. Thank you, Ken. Any other questions? Call a question. All those in favor? That is carried. Next is report the zoning bylaw amendment to deal with an Explorer Communications Tower. Someone care to move that, please? Joan, thank you. Seconded by Jim. Ken? Oh, Victoria, sure.
Yeah, sorry, that one's me. Good
Yeah,
afternoon,
good.
everybody. Happy New Year as well. Okay, so I'll just jump in. The applicant is proposing a new freestanding communications tower. It stands about 45 meters in height. It occupies about 9 square meters of the site. The subject lands have about 193 frontage on Southgate Road 22, 1.76 kilometers depth along Highway 6, and it's about 40 hectares in size and currently serves as an active farm. So the tower includes an anti-climb technology, which is typical for these telecommunication towers. It's located roughly 528 meters from the closest residence, located to the west. There are some existing technologies on site. I believe it's located on the silo. This will be decommissioned upon the completion of the new tower to help accommodate future technology services. As well, this is actually an updated site tower location on the site. Following some previous comments from Township Public Works and county comments, the proponent worked with the owner, the property owner, to relocate the tower to meet the recommended setbacks. So it's now able to meet the recommended setbacks from county direction and the township's tower and antenna policy and guidance document. The document suggests the height of the tower plus 10 meters, so that would be 55 meters. Some comments received for their file, they're found on page 3 of staff's report. Public comments were received at the beginning of December from a resident who opposes the proposed tower. They had some concerns, including the impact of the tower on the environment and health and safety. The proponent provided a reply to the concern to clarify the proposed tower's compliance with guidelines set by Health Canada and advised that there would be no adverse health effects. So at this time, staff recommend the approval of the proposed tower as the updated tower location meets the county and township setback recommendations. And the telecommunication towers are exempt from municipal zoning bylaw and section 41 of the Planning Act. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Victoria. Are there any questions from council? Not seeing any, I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Moving on to a zoning bylaw amendment recommendation regarding Jeff and Elaine Green. I need a mover and a seconder for that, please. Jim and Jason, thank you. Victoria, is that yours as well?
Yep, that's me again. Thank you.
You're on. Please.
Okay, perfect. So the applicants are proposing a rezoning to permit a roof structure to cover an existing 240.8 square meter concrete pad they use for manure storage on site, and which is currently located 4.5 meters from the north lot line. As well, they're proposing a pit silo with possible cover in the future west of the existing barn with a similar rear setback. The current A1 zoning requires a 15-meter minimum rear yard setback, so from the north lot line. The provincial MDS document recommends a minimum of about 6 meters setback to any lot line. So the proposed rezoning would provide relief for the rear yard setback to allow the existing concrete pad, which is 4.6 meters, and then for the future pit silo from the north lot line as well, which would be a recommended 6 meters. So the subject lands have approximately 290 meters frontage on Southgate Road 14, 425 depth from Southgate Side Road 19, and it's about 20 hectares in lot size. There are several outbuildings, agricultural nature on the site, neighbored by some rural residential lots, and it's located in agricultural land area. So there are some on-farm diversified uses and primary agricultural uses located nearby. An MDS2 calculation was submitted as well, which is where the 6 meter minimum number comes from. In this case, because the manure storage was pre-existing, it was unable to meet the 6 meter setback. It's at 4.6 meters. So this rezoning would provide relief. And then a 6 meter rear yard setback for the future pit silo is recommended to ensure further MDS2 exemption is not needed when construction occurs. And some comments were received for this file. They're found on page 4 of staff's report. There were no concerns identified. The 6 meter setback for the future pit silo is recommended to meet the MDS2 separation to the nearest lot side or rear lot line. Since the existing concrete pad is already used for manure storage with a rear yard setback of 4.6 meters, allowing a cover and associated structure would not increase or cause any further land use conflicts or aggravate existing conditions on site. And again, the farm operations are focused on the north side of the lot near the existing farm cluster, and previously severed lots on the south side of the site are sufficiently separated type A land uses in compliance with MDS2. So at this time, staff are recommending the approval of the proposed rezoning to expand the agricultural uses on site. It's consistent with the provincial policy guidelines for use of prime agricultural lands and the provincial MDS document, and complies with county and township official plans. And happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Victoria. Are there any questions from council? Joan, please.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Victor, I know you were going a little bit fast and I did read the thing, but you said it is currently used for the manure storage right now. They're just
Yep.
updating. And are there any residences that is close to the rear line? Like, as I look at it, that the closer setback could disturb?
No, just through the MDS2 calculation, they would only need a required setback of 6 meters from their lot line. So there is a neighboring farm to the north as well, but it wouldn't impact anything. There's no changing. They're not moving the manure storage closer at all. It's already pre-existing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Thank you, Victoria. Any other questions? I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Moving on to the bylaw that will enable the zoning bylaw amendment. Someone care to move that, please? Barb, seconded by Jason. Thank you. Victoria, anything to add on the bylaw?
No, thank you. Nothing further.
Okay. Any questions? I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Victoria and Ken. That concludes the planning section for now anyway, I guess. Moving on to the finance department. We have wait. Here's got to turn the page. Couple of reports here. The first one is capital operating interim spending authority prior to the budget approval. Someone care to move that, please? Barb, seconded by Jim. Kayla. Right, Kayla. Somewhere. There you are. Well,
Good afternoon.
welcome. Good afternoon. You're sitting so quiet over there. I didn't see you. Sorry.
That's okay. So this report is similar to one that we've done in previous years. Since we are still working on our 2025 budget, it just allows us to move forward with business operations. And there's some specific projects listed for specific approval for the funding, and then 50% of the operational from last year.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions from council? Not seeing any. I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. The next report is regarding the 2025 budget timeline approval. Someone care to move that, please? Monica, thank you. Is there a seconder? Joan, thank you. Kayla?
Thank you. The finance and management team have come up with the proposed budget timeline for council consideration.
Okay, we can see it there in the report. Anybody have any questions? Barb?
Thank you. Through you to Kayla and Lindsay, I suppose. With regard to the public information meeting, the public open forum, that is the standard information where the public can speak. It really, you're combining it with a special committee of the whole, whereas in previous years gone by, it might have stood alone and didn't require council participation. Would there be any difficulty in holding that particular public information meeting at 6 o'clock following the council meeting on the 19th, virtually or in person or hybridly, depending on the weather? Why 9 a.m. and could it be shifted with, I mean, if that was council's wish?
Sure, through you, Mayor Milne. This schedule was very much based on what we did last year. So that we did do a 9 a.m. or could have been a 1 p.m. I'm not exactly sure on that, but the open house was combined with a special committee of the whole meeting. So we had the open house at the beginning, and then council moved into the committee of the whole to further discuss the budget. So this is the same as what we did last year, but to your point, yes, in previous years, we had done the public information meeting separately. If that is something council wants to do, we can explore that. What I would recommend though is not separating it, just have that whole meeting at a different time rather than separating the two, if that's what council wishes.
Thank you. And to clarify then, we would consider any comments that would be submitted, whether in writing by that deadline, by whatever time frame we determine, and any in-person comments online or in person. I mean, we haven't had a full house for many, many years. So I don't anticipate there being, a lot of people, a lot of uptake, but I would like us to consider it. And if rather than having it on 2 separate days, I would propose that we consider 6 o'clock on the 19th following the council meeting.
So that would be Wednesday, March 19th at 6 PM for the special committee of the whole.
Scheduled for 1 o'clock currently.
So we have a regular meeting that day for 1 o'clock. That's our regular schedule.
Mhm.
So then there'd just be, depending on the size of that agenda, there'd be a couple hour break or whichever. And then the special committee of the whole meeting would begin at 6 and it would start with a public information meeting.
I believe we will entertain comments, suggestions up until the passage of the the budget rather, not just to that meeting. At least that's what we've done in the past.
Yeah.
Any thoughts from anybody? Jason?
I kind of like that idea. What you said, leave it till the evening, and if, I know we never get a lot of people, but just giving people a chance to get out if they can. So I like that idea.
Anyone else? Go ahead. No, we don't. That's right. We don't have a seconder. I forgot that. Is there a seconder? Joan, are you seconding that motion? Or that? Well, actually, I don't have an amendment yet.
No, I had a comment now. I
Okay,
did-
just hold on there for a second. Are you wishing to make an amendment to the recommendation?
Rather hear what people think. We can discuss it, right?
Well, we can discuss the recommendation as it is, certainly, absolutely. All right,
Leave it for.
okay, for now. Joan, please.
Oh, sorry, I was just saying, I don't really like the 6 o'clock, but I will go with the majority. I don't like to leave my house at 6 o'clock to come to Holstein.
Sorry, just of note, it would still be a hybrid meeting, so virtual participation would be permitted.
Okay, thank you, Lindsay.
Yep, thanks, Joan. What if we made it entirely virtual at 6 o'clock? I mean, staff still
Up
have
to
to,
council.
staff have to come in to do a virtual meeting, correct?
Correct,
Into
yeah.
the office?
Well,
So that-
sorry. If it went fully virtual, no. But to do a hybrid, staff have to be in
Yep,
this building,
yep.
yes.
But a fully virtual meeting, staff can do that remotely. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, okay, so that's
Yeah.
an option as well. I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying that's an option. Jim, did you have a comment or a question?
No, I would agree with the evening meeting, and I'm kind of the in person too, having it in person.
Okay,
Yeah, in favor.
any other thoughts from anyone? Yeah, go ahead.
And before I make the amendment, the committee of the whole meeting that will follow the public information open forum, do you anticipate that being a robust, a 3-hour, we're gonna, at that point in time, if we're presenting it to the public, we should be pretty close with what the budget looks like. I don't want to keep, it's a long day for staff. I get it. That's one of the reasons why I don't like evening meetings. And certainly don't want to keep staff till 10, 11 o'clock at night. Well, it wouldn't be, it would only be 10, but also driving home in the winter.
Through you,
Lindsay?
Mayor Milne. I mean, at that point, we're at our second round. We've already had 2 full meetings, so I don't want to speak for Taylor, but I would imagine it maybe wouldn't be as long of a meeting as the first 2. But I really don't know. Procedurally, yes, we can't go past, I think it's 10, but it could be 9. I gotta look again. Yeah, so either way, there is a cutoff under our procedural bylaw, but I don't imagine it would be much past 9 AM or 9 PM, sorry.
Everyone does understand that the public do have the opportunity to call any counselor or any staff member at any time about the budget. They have the opportunity to submit written comments at any time, an email outlining what their concerns are. Past history has suggested that we get minimal, and that's being generous, minimal participation at public meetings in person. Just doesn't make a lot of sense to me to do what I'm hearing, but I'm certainly at council's disposal here. So anyway, the current recommendation is as it is presented in the report. If someone would like to make an amendment, then now would be the time. Barb.
So I'll put it on the floor, then we can just deal with it and put it to
Sure.
bed. I'm good either way. And I would propose an amendment to have the public open forum held on Wednesday, March 19th at 6 PM, held virtually. Fully virtually.
Okay, is there a seconder for that? Monica seconds that motion. Discussion? Jason.
I would rather see it a hybrid. The budget is probably our most important thing of the year, to be transparent. I know we get nobody showing up, but if one person shows up, maybe 10 will. To be transparent, if it takes till 10 o'clock at night, that's what we're here for. As far as I'm concerned, I would like to see it a hybrid, but.
Well, you can amend the amendment if you so choose. Current amendment is a fully virtual meeting. Yeah. Well, you don't have to do that right now, but I'll give you a minute to think about it. Monica, please.
Yes, Happy New Year. Good afternoon. Yes, my understanding, my apologies. I thought it was for the hybrid. I thought I was seconding for hybrid, not just the online. So sorry about that. But I would,
So you're withdrawing your second of the amendment?
if it could be hybrid, but I'm still okay with online too. So I'll keep it on the floor and then see if there's anyone who wants to make an amendment to the amendment.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Any other discussion, questions? Okay, oh, Jason, go ahead.
I guess I'd like to make an amendment to the amendment, that it's a hybrid
That
meeting.
it'd be a hybrid meeting, okay? Is there a seconder for that, Jason, or Jim rather, sorry, you're seconding that? Okay. Any further discussion on the amendment to the amendment? So now the amendment is calling for a hybrid meeting, to be clear. At 6 o'clock on the 19th. Okay, any-
With the committee, the whole, to follow.
okay,
Council actually shows up in person.
any further discussion? Not seeing any, I'll call the question on the amendment to the amendment. All those in favor? All those in favor, please indicate. That carries. So now we're back to the original motion as amended to make it a hybrid meeting at 6 o'clock on the 19th, right? Yep, clerk, is it? Okay, any discussion on that? Any further discussion? Not seeing any, I'll call the question. Oh, Joan, go ahead, please.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
That's okay.
Are we also gonna be having a motion to keep it as it is right now? Or it has changed to the,
It is being changed. The amendment to the original motion, as is in the report, is changing the meeting to a hybrid meeting on the 19th at 6 o'clock. The public, forget now what you call it now, but
So it'll be the special
Special.
council meeting, which includes a public information meeting at the beginning, and then council will resolve into committee of the whole to further discuss the budget.
Right.
So
Okay.
that amendment, Joan, is now on the floor to be held. And currently on the schedule, it's the Tuesday morning, and this would be changing it to the Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock, and it would be a hybrid attendance. You can either attend online or in person.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Okay. Last call for questions. All those in favor of the amendment? That is carried. So now we're back to the original motion as amended. Any discussion on that? I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, everyone. Well, almost. No, I'm kidding. All right. Moving on to legislative services. What time is it? Oh, we're doing all right. Legislative services, procedural bylaw review. I believe that's a report from the clerk. Someone have to move that, please. Monica, second by Barb. Madam Clerk, please.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Milne. This one is kind of exciting for me anyway. We have we're hoping that we can do a review of our procedural bylaw. It's been quite some time since it's been reviewed. With our workloads, I just, quite honestly, we can't get to it. We have asked Clerks on Call to provide us a proposal to do this for us. I think it's a decent cost. That's why I'm asking for approval ahead of the budget as a capital project in my department for 2025. Asking for approval ahead so they can start their timeline. Their proposal includes discussions with staff and discussions with council, and then it also includes training on the new procedural bylaw. So I think it's not necessarily one or two glaring items that need change. I think it's a whole, review of the entire bylaw. There's a bunch of little things rather than one or two big things. So I guess at this point, I'll just take questions if there are any.
Okay, thank you, Lindsay. Did I get a mover and seconder? I think I did. Yes, I did.
Yes.
Okay, any questions from council? Barb?
Thank you through you to Lindsay. One question that I didn't get at, that I didn't ask in advance, was why is it a capital project? Because training is operational.
Because it's a
Policy-
one time.
One time?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And the fact that the actual review of the bylaw is only just over $2,000, this includes training.
Yeah.
And we can
it's a
all
great price.
use education, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions, discussion? Jason?
Do you have any idea of a rough timeline, what they'd be thinking or not?
They're hoping to have it done by end of March. Yeah, I believe. Yeah.
Any other questions? Not seeing any, I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Lindsay. Moving on to another report regarding a land acquisition for the Woodland Cemetery. I need a mover, please. Jim, seconded by Jason. Just so everyone is oriented, Woodland Church is on Side Road 49. Did I get that right? I was gonna say a different number, but.
Corner of 49 and Southgate Road 8, right, John? I'm looking at you.
Yes, it is. Yep, right smack on the corner, and the cemetery is on the northwest side of that intersection. So, all right, Holly, I believe you're taking this one, please.
That's correct. Thank you. Through you, this report is just to get approval to enter into a land transfer agreement. At the meeting in August, council approved the transfer of the cemetery to be maintained and operated by the township. It's not required as part of the process, but we believe it's our best interest to own the land while we're managing the cemetery, just to mitigate any risk.
Okay, thank you, Holly. Any questions? All right, I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Moving on to the bylaw to enact that land acquisition. It's moved by Barb, seconded by Jason. Any further comments, Holly?
No, thank you.
Okay, any further questions, discussion from council? Not seeing any, I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Holly. Moving on to the Dundalk Old Town Hall purchase and sale agreement approval. That is also from the clerk's department. I need a mover and a seconder, please. Jim, or Jason rather, and Jim. Lindsay, please.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor Milne. Back in, let me see the date, November 6th, there was a staff report presented to council that had some recommendations on the future of the building. So at that meeting, I'm sure everyone remembers, it wasn't that long ago, it was referred back to staff. We got a offer from Dundalk Team Town Hall, which was a recently incorporated not-for-profit group, and they submitted to purchase the building. So council directed us to work with Team Town Hall and move forward with this purchase. So we have done so. We've met one or a couple times, I can't recall, but worked back and forth with Team Town Hall and our legal counsel and have finalized the agreement and are recommending approval of it to sell the town hall to Dundalk Team Town Hall.
Excellent. Thank you, Lindsay. Any questions from council? Barb?
Actually, just one through you, Mayor Milne, and it's to go back to the question I asked. Back in the day, there was always talk, and I get emails and phone calls from not a whole lot of people, just a few who have donated seats or the plaques of those seats in the Old Town Hall. And at some point through all of the iterations that, we were going to try to fund the building, we were going to try to sell the building, we are now at this exciting stage, this exciting beginning. And I know that the question will come up is, and I'm very confident that it will be successful, but at some point in time, should those seats no longer be of use to the Team Town Hall, maybe they want to change them, or for whatever reason the building changes hands, is there something that we can entertain that allows the seats or those of historical significance to be preserved? And that might be, if the seats are being replaced, that the plaques have a memorial wall, or, and I'm not dictating that, but should the township be offered the building and choose not to, we might want to save those plaques. And that was our intent, should we not actually sell the building. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Sure, through you, Mayor Milne. There's not something specific in the agreement right now, but I have, I should have included that earlier. I have posed the question to our legal. I haven't gotten a response quite yet, but as long as Team Town Hall was okay with the amendment, we could add that depending what the wording is, but we would just have to wait and see what he says.
Barb?
So in this instance, then we could approve the purchase and sale agreement and defer the bylaw until we have that response, or?
It's
because-
not necessary. The
No.
way the bylaws wrote, let me just pull it up. It says substantially the same form as the schedule, so a simple amendment like that can be added as long as both parties agree. I can bring an update to council after,
Okay.
should
I don't
something
want to
be
delay
added,
it.
but yeah.
Certainly.
No, I
wanna
don't,
delay it.
it doesn't need to be deferred for that.
Anyone else have any comments on that particular item? I have full confidence in the stewardship of the town hall by the Team Town Hall. And if there's any historical items in there, I'm sure they will be extremely sensitive to that. I don't want to complicate the issue, and I don't want to delay it. So I'm not inclined to put conditions more than what we already have. So, I mean, that's just my thoughts. Anyway, Jason.
No, I echo your sentiment. I was just gonna say that we finally got to this point. I don't wanna delay it at all, so.
Okay. Joan, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I think it's very exciting and it's such a great move. I think we should just move along with it and support Team Town Hall as much as we possibly can. Thank you.
100%, Joan. Well said. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried.
Can I get a recorded vote, please?
Sure.
A recorded vote was called for bylaw 2025-005, purchase and sale agreement for the Dundalk Old Town Hall. Counselor John,
Yes.
Counselor Rice,
Yes.
Counselor Singh Soares,
Yep.
Mayor Milne,
In favor.
Counselor Shipston is absent. Counselor Ferguson,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor DeBreen,
Yes.
by a vote of 6-0, that's carried.
Thank you, Lindsay. Moving on to the bylaw to enact the purchase and sale agreement. Someone care to move that? Jason, thank you. Second by Jim. Any discussion? Anything further on the bylaw, Lindsay?
No, but I just realized I called that recorded vote on the bylaw, not the staff report. Sorry. So, yeah. No, I have nothing. to
Clearly,
add.
we all noticed that, or,
Yeah.
you know.
No, I have nothing to add here,
Okay.
Mayor Milne.
Any further questions from council on the bylaw? Not seeing any. I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Well done, council. Okay, thank you, Lindsay. And indeed, thank you all staff that worked on that particular item. Borrowing bylaw. Bylaw number 25-001. This is an annual deal. Mover and a seconder. Barb and Monica, thank you. Kayla, do you want to, is that yours, or who would like to do that one? Sorry. Sorry to catch you off guard there.
That's okay. Yes, so this is again similar to what we've done in the past in previous years, and it's just for emergency borrowing for the approval of that.
It's a line of credit, basically. Right. Okay. Any discussion, questions? No, not seeing any. Oh, Joan, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just through you, just a quick question, Kayla, is it a fixed rate or variable rate?
Just say yes.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure. I would have to look into that.
Okay, all right. I know that variables are good now, so.
Oh, I see Taylor's hand up. She has the answer. Taylor?
I would say it would be most likely variable, as it'd be an open line of credit.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Taylor.
No
Jason?
problem.
I know we do this we haven't used that much lately, have we? Or I didn't think we did, but
Kayla?
No, I believe we haven't used the line of credit.
no, I didn't.
No.
Didn't think so.
Okay. I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Taylor. Is there any notice of motion? Not seeing any. Consent items, regular business for information. There are 5 items there. Does anyone wish any of those to be redirected? Not seeing. Oh, Joan, go ahead.
Oh, not to read, I just wanted to comment on 11.1.1.
Okay, just let me get a mover and seconder first, and then I'll come back to you. Is there a mover? Jim, second by Barb. Thank you. Joan?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say that recognizing the unconscious discrimination against persons with disability, this act of developing and implementing and enforcing this standard in order to achieve accessibility for people with this disability with respect to goods, services, facilities, accommodation, and structures and such is such a great work, as I work with various people with disability, and I'm really happy to see that we have a multi-year plan going here in Southgate. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Joan. Anyone else? Not seeing any. I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Then we move on to correspondence related for information. Would anyone wish any of those removed for further direction? Not seeing any, so if someone could care to move, they believe there's 2 items there. Someone care to move that? Monica, thank you, and Joan? Any further discussion? All those in favor? That is carried. Moving on to resolutions of other municipalities. There's only 1 item there. I'll just ask for a mover and seconder. Monica and Jim? Any discussion? All those in favor? That is carried. Closed session. The confidential report. We don't actually need to go into closed session, do we? We can,
No, that's just
we could move in.
the attachment from my previous staff report, the clerk's on call proposal.
Right,
It's
okay.
just
So it's
to
just there
receive it
for
for
information.
information. Yeah.
So do we need to move and second that for receive it? Okay. Someone care to move that, please? Barb, second by Jim. Discuss, well, I guess if there's any discussion, we'll actually have to go into closed session. Not seeing any, I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. County report. Barb, do you have anything?
I think the, not necessarily out of the county council meeting, although it was referred to by CAO Wingrove, was that AMO released its report on homelessness. And immediately following that day, Grey County released a perspective to the AMO municipalities under pressure report. And I thought it was a real eye opener to see just what Grey County is doing in relation to housing and homelessness and the amount of investment past now and the plan. So I encourage everyone to go to the county website. They can go to news releases and that release will be there. But also you can also go and always listen to the video recording of county council.
Thank you, Barb. Anybody have any questions related to county business? Okay. Members' privilege. Good news and celebrations. Joan, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have good news. I'm so ecstatic to be the chair for the library board. Southgate Library has been awarded platinum status in the 2024 Grey County Community Votes for its children activities, parenting, and childcare category. And they didn't even know that they were nominated. So that's a tremendous recognition, given that we didn't even participate in recruiting votes. Kudos to Jackie Johnson, as she's a Children's Services Library Assistant, and she's a driving force behind the program, and she's truly deserved this recognition. Also, early on, Dundalk has been awarded the gold status for children activities and child play categories. So congratulations to those two organizations. And of course, Junction Community Initiative will be celebrating the 5th annual Black History Month in the Township of Southgate and throughout Bruce, Great Owen Sound. We've organized a few events from Dundalk to Owen Sound with various themes, all followed by lunch and our dinner. Can't miss the food for about 120 pre-registered guests from February 1st to March 1st at different locations. So come on out and learn and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Absolutely. Food is important. You got that. So, and congratulations to you and the library board and indeed all the staff and Jackie in particular for their hard work on that nomination and that award. Excellent. Okay. Anyone else?
Just myself.
Monica, go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you. So yes, congratulations are in order to all that Councillor John just mentioned. Also just wanted to wish happy Lori to all. This is equivalent for the South Asian people, for the Sikh people to be like a new year. So just on this joyous occasion of Lori, we celebrate the spirit of community, gratitude for the harvest and the warmth of togetherness. As we reflect on the values of growth and prosperity, let us continue to work together for the betterment of our township and its residents. May this festival bring light, happiness, and success to everyone in our community. And just want to wish everyone a very happy Lori with joy, unity, and new beginnings. And it's a special celebration for the farmers who bring the food to our plate. And that's what Lori celebrates, is the big festival. And a lot of festivities have been happening all week and will continue into the weekend. And I think that's one of the common connections that we have in our community. So just wanted to say happy Lori to the council, to staff, to residents, and to everyone all the way around.
Thank you, Monica, and happy Lodi to everyone. Did I get that right? Did I say that right? Lodi?
You have to roll your R a bit. Lori.
So there must be a little scotch in that then, right? If you got to roll the R.
I love it.
Okay. In any case, happy Lodi to everyone. Lordy. Okay. I'll leave it at that. Okay. Sorry, go ahead, Barb. Yep.
Thank you. And two things, actually. Just wanted to mention, and while there's no information shared yet, Flato announced that the scholarship fund that they had mentioned several years ago for the communities in which they build will be under development. They have announced that it is coming forward, but that details are still being worked out. So we're looking forward to learning more about how our youth can enter the arts and or the trades. That was what they alluded to at the time. So don't have any more details about that, but that's good news. And I guess as it might relate to possible new beginnings, I thought I would send congratulations and best wishes to Councillor Singh Soares, who's seeking the nomination for the Conservative Party Member of Parliament of Brampton Centre. We wish her much success as she's vigorously campaigning door to door and going to events in Brampton. And I guess the news will, I guess that's just for the nomination. To be a candidate for the nomination, and they'll announce the date, and then hopefully if that is something that you're very passionate about, that you will be running in the federal election. So good luck.
Thank you, Barb, and congratulations, Monica.
Thank you. Is it okay if I just respond real
Sure,
quick?
go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah,
by all
thank
means,
you.
that's exciting news.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, one of the greatest things that I found in a deep reflection is that we have a wonderful MP in Bruce Grey Owensound. And it's not been a light decision. It's been a lot of reflection and discussion, and it is seeking the nomination. I'm not a nomination candidate. I'm not a candidate. So I did not, want to go talking about it too much until we got more information. So thank you, Deputy Mayor. I wasn't expecting you to say that, but I kind of had a feeling that was gonna come up. So thank you for doing that. And also, I've told everyone everywhere I go how much Southgate has just been amazing and supportive. The residents have been incredible. The Bruce Grey and Owensound support has been incredible. And I talk about Southgate everywhere I go, and that we are like the gate to the north in a lot of ways, coming from the GTA. So just let's see how things go, and the ability to serve residents at a wider level. And we're all just really one in the end, is a great privilege and honor. We'll know soon enough what the outcome will be. But if you don't, Wayne Gretzky, I think he said it, you make no goals if you don't take any shots, something like this. So I went for it. So thank you, Barbara, and to everybody. And let's see what happens.
When is the nomination meeting, Monica?
This is the great question. No one knows right now.
Oh, okay. All right.
Especially in our writing. But
All right.
one quick thing, family, Brampton Center specifically is exactly where I grew up, like hometown grew up. But Southgate is so that's the family I was born into in a lot of ways. Not born into, but raised as much as I can remember. But Southgate is the family my family created. So my heart with Southgate is like so special. And that's the family like we created. And we just continue to go, and we talk about Southgate everywhere we go. So yeah, that's the base and foundation of everything we speak about when we're out and talking about. So I hope it helps in a way to bring more visibility and understanding about the rural area. So sorry to go on about that, but I just really wanted to thank you. And we'll see what happens. Really, no one really kind of understands what's happening. In the sense of dates, but we'll know soon enough. But thank you for your support.
Yep, very good. Thank you, Monica. Okay. Any other good news celebrations? Not seeing any. All right. We do have a closed session today to deal with 3 items. Be it resolved that council proceed into closed session at 2:02 in order to address matters relating to litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board, specifically litigation update and labor relations or employee negotiations and personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, specifically HR matters, and that all those required remain in attendance. Someone care to move that, please? Jim, seconded by Joan. All those in favor? That is carried. So we will now proceed into closed session. Yeah, we'll recess for 5 minutes or so and then we'll,
Thank you.
yep, thanks, Joan. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to open session. I can confirm that we only discussed those items listed on the in-camera agenda. We have a confirming bylaw. Someone care to move that, please? Jim, seconded by Jason. All those in favor? That is carried. One final motion, and Joan is going to move that we adjourn. Second by Barb. All those in favor? We're adjourned. Thank you, ladies.